I tend to speak about my little grandkids quite a bit. It's just one of the things I do. Spend time with them. You can't help but kind of pick up little things that actions, attitudes, words that are, they kind of speak to various circumstances and situations and even relate to some of the truths that we've come to know in the Word. And one of the things that I find about my grandkids, the smaller they are, the more this is an element of their life. Immaturity tends to lead in this direction. Uh, and I'm sure you've seen it. This kind of issue of, you know, catastrophizing something. In other words, you have a sense that whatever happened is the worst thing that could ever happen. I don't know if you've ever seen perhaps something like this happen. And my wife was sharing with me, Sue was telling me about this lady that was in the store doing the self-checkout, and her kid was laying on the floor just screaming and kicking her legs and feet up and down and just screaming. The whole store heard it. And she was in line and just kind of watching as this thing, and the mother was just very nonchalantly just checking out while this kid was just, throwing this huge fit on the floor. I can imagine that had something to do with something that she either wanted or thought she needed to have that she didn't get. It was a total catastrophe. It was life and death in that moment. Now, I don't know about you, but there is a tendency that we have as believers to take something that we hear, something that is perhaps has the potential of being incredibly bad. Maybe something that is an event that something's happened. Somebody's had an accident. Somebody's gotten a diagnosis, or many things like that. That was not a COVID cough. That was just me coughing. It happens. Sorry. Excuse me. See, if I'd have thought that if you had immediately gone to the this is a COVID cough, then that's catastrophizing. You're making something very small into something much bigger. We all tend to do this. We've all done this. And this is why I think in Psalm 46:10, when it says, cease from striving. Just stop. Just rest. Just take a break. God's going to be exalted. God has everything in control. God actually knows, even though many of us are losing them, He knows how many hair follicles we have on our head. Now, for some of us, we have more on our back than we do on our head, but that's not the point. Some of us have more growing out of our ears these days than we do on our head. But that's not the point. That's what happens when you get old. But the point is, God knows. We don't have to strive. We don't have to be anxious. Didn't Jesus say that in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 25 and on? Don't be anxious. Don't be anxious. We have a tendency to take a very small thing, and it is reasoning that affects our emotions. We reason it to be much greater than it is. And by the way, that is it's a sure sign of immaturity. You would expect a child to do that. We do not expect adults to do that. If they do, it's a sign of immaturity. Because our Lord, we know that the world is full of so many different outcomes than what we can't project all these outcomes. And God, being God, decides the outcome anyway. He's the one that directs our steps. He's the one that decides how it's going to work out. So today, take a chill pill. Enjoy. You hear something that seems to be, whether it be on the news, whether it be, something that happens in your life, something someone says to you, don't let it be any more than what it is right now. And that's just whatever it really is. That's it. No more until you find out it truly is more. And even if it is, there's nothing that you and I will ever experience that God himself hasn't provided for us in the midst of it. That is just the way it is. He's with us, and he provides for us. And we go through nothing that he isn't greater than. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, nothing. That's a beautiful thing. Till next time, friends. God bless you.